I have one question for you, only one question. How do you look at yourself? Do you look at yourself in a positive way or do you look at yourself in a negative way? More to say, do you feel confident about yourself or do you feel that it's okay for the fear of being yourself to hold you back from achieving your goals and living the best part of your life? If that's the case, then this is the show for you. Ladies and gentlemen, sit tight as I welcome you to another brand new episode of Complacency Learning. On this amazing episode, we are joined by such an amazing person all the way from Phoenix, Arizona. Ladies and gentlemen, her name is Clarissa Burt. To those of you who don't know who Clarissa Burt is an internationally acclaimed award-winning media personality, producer, director, actress, writer, author, public speaker, and a former supermodel and winner of the Celebrity Survivor show with hundreds of television and film credits to her name. Ladies and gentlemen, such an amazing person all the way from Arizona, Phoenix, to share with us about how to build and maintain positive self-confidence. Ladies and gentlemen, sit tight as I welcome you to the show, and also I hope that you enjoy every piece of information that she shares with us. Hi, Clarissa. Welcome to another episode of Complacency Learning. It's an honor to have you on today's episode. How are you doing?
Hi, Andy. I'm doing really well, thank you. And just so excited to be with you from South Africa because I've never been there before and I always want to come there. So now I know I have a friend there.
Awesome. I've also never been that side, and I'm hoping to come there one day, so yeah.
You must. We'll
Yeah,
wait for you.
I must say all thanks to this technology. Hey, like now we're so far apart from each other, and yet we're able to record an interview, And with all this thunder going, I just wanna also, apologize for the thunder. It's just the rain, So just bear in
It's
mind,
okay.
So I cannot control the weather, unfortunately, you know.
Oh, it's
So.
okay. I think it adds mystique.
Right, awesome, awesome. So now looking into your profile, I see you're a whole lot of things, right? So I'm not gonna mention them now, so I'm just gonna actually leave that to you, right? So what I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna ask you to actually introduce yourself to our audience and also let us know of what we expect to learn from you.
Fantastic. Well, let's see. My name is Clarissa Burt, and I
Mm,
do live in Phoenix. I have been
mm,
all over the world traveling and working and loving what I do. I've been in media and communications. I've been in most in Italy for 30 years, where I worked on television there. I modeled also back in the day. I was an actress for some movies, about maybe 20 movies, and then I came here and I have a
mm,
multimedia platform
mm,
that I work with solopreneurs and entrepreneurs. You know, we have video and podcast and a digital magazine. But the most important thing that's happening recently is the fact that I dropped my book. And so the book came out. It's called The Self-Esteem Regime, an action plan for becoming the confident person you were meant to be. And it was picked up by Roman and Littlefield publishers in New York City. And the audio rights went to recorded books, which means we can have either the copy in our hands that we can read, or we can have it also to listen to.
mm,
So it's great because I'm also in a big bookstore here. It's called Barnes and Noble, and I've had my book signings there, and the book is there, and it's doing some really great things. We're working on this with my mastermind, which means
mm,
that the women that are in my mastermind are doing a chapter every session, and they
mm,
are absolutely loving it. The book talks about all kinds of various aspects of good, happy, healthy self-esteem. And we're living in a world right now that is very uncertain, especially in the last 2 years. And people have gone through a lot of loss. And they've lost their jobs, they've lost hope, they've lost faith, they've lost family, they've lost money, they've lost friends, it's been a lot of loss. Not for everyone, and I'm not trying to paint doom and gloom, but it's true. I think we've also had a loss of identity, some of us. So I think a book like this is a really good, what I say, rah-rah session. It's a great cheerleader that helps you go through the process with easy chapters to read, because we have case studies and we have affirmations, we have Clarissa's Corner or the Clarion Call. We have just all kinds of great tools and resources in the book to help you along your way. It's a kind of book that you can read it today, or and then in 6 months time it will be a completely different thing for you, because you will get from it different things that you didn't see the first time because you weren't ready for the message yet. So it's one of those ongoing kind of reading kind of things, because indeed we never really say, okay, great, I'm 100% with self-esteem and now I'm good for life. No, it doesn't work that way, because life ebbs and flows and it changes, and the storm it works around us all the time. So what we like to say is we stand strongly in our roots or strongly in our stead. And that means that no matter what is happening around us, we know we have good, happy self-esteem. We are living our greater good. We are living in our self-acceptance. We live purposefully, which is also something that I think is extremely important for us. We live with our integrity. So many people are not living honestly, or they think they can bend the universal laws or rules, and you can't. You have to be living in full integrity and honesty with yourself and with others at all times. This will also bring happy, healthy self-esteem. Another way is to do something nice for someone else. If you can do even the littlest things, hold an elevator door, help a woman down the stairs with a baby carriage, read a book to an elderly person, anything, some of the most silly things can be the most important. So I think what I'm trying to say is, if you live in the present and you live consciously, you will be able to navigate life when you're living also with good boundaries and very good rules that you live by.
No, it sounds like a very good book to read, eh? I think it's one of those a must-have book, So I'll just okay. Now, before I actually move forward, can I just ask you, if one needs to get a copy, where can they get it?
They can get it at Amazon for sure, and Barnes and Noble. I don't know if you have Barnes and Noble there, but we have Amazon for sure. Both the hard copy, which again looks like that, or the audio version you can find on Amazon with Audible. And it's just it's a fascinating read. I have people telling me that it's changing their lives. Some of the women are coming to my mastermind and they're crying because they're having breakthroughs. When you speak about self-esteem and you go through the book, you will find that there are things that you knew you needed to work on, but you never did. But then you were going to find that there are things you didn't even know was an issue, and you're going to start working on that. We do a lot of journaling in the book, writing things down and manifesting and prayer, and whatever prayer means for you. It's your way of, mine is with the divine and source. Other people say God. Some people say Krishna. Other people say Allah. So it's all encompassing. It's not a religious book in any way, but the way for you to stop and go inside is the way to source, and it's the way to truth. Yeah.
No, awesome. Just make sure that you forward me the link, and then I'll put it on the description also, so that people can just access it easy. So yeah, so well, I'm so happy to have you here on today's episode. From what you just said, it sounds like we're gonna learn a lot, because already we're talking about self-esteem that people, that like most people lack, and to have it, it's very attractive, because it's not something that comes easy.
And here's something that's really important too to remember, and that is, especially for the younger people, they are getting their self-esteem from social media. They are either losing self-esteem because they're doing a lot of comparison. So the self-esteem 101 is stop comparing yourself to everyone else. You are not them and they are not you, and you are on two completely different paths. And you don't what they are truly living until you walk a mile in their shoes. So worry about your shoes. Keep walking in your shoes and figure out what is the best way to your life and to your truth. So stop comparing yourself. Stop saying I'm sorry. Stop saying I'm sorry. It's not, there's nothing really to be sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Am I bothering you? I'm sorry. No, we don't need to be putting out, that's kind of like a negative vibe. We want to be really up and happy, and that book is going to help us achieve. It's going to show us how to get to the light at the end of the tunnel in some of the most deepest, darkest moments of our lives. The other thing that we really don't want to do is to say, oh, I'm enough, you're enough, I am enough. Well, enough as a definition is as much as required. As much as required. Well, I know I'm much more than required. I don't know about, I want everybody to feel like they are much more than what is required.
Yeah, yeah.
So stop saying I'm enough. You are so much more than enough. Stop seeking approval from everyone else is another one. Stop seeking the approval. Yes, it's great and it feels wonderful that everybody tells you how great you are. And yeah, that's great. But you need to be the first one to know your power in your existence here in this lifetime. So you have to be able to say, I am good, I am kind, I am strong, I am intelligent, I am clear, I am all abundant, all of the things that, by the way, there are plenty of those affirmations here, but you can make up your own. What do you need to be telling yourself? We also have mirror therapy in the book, which is extremely powerful. So, Will Smith was on a show, and he was doing an interview, and he said, why are we seeking approval from others when we are talking about self-esteem? What
Yeah.
self-esteem, not others' esteem, right? So stop apologizing and create your boundaries. This is a hard one for people. This is difficult, creating boundaries, because most of the boundaries that we learn from our natal tribe. We learn from our family. And when we start to feel as though maybe some of the teachings, maybe some of the trainings are not resonating with us, it doesn't make them wrong. It just makes it not our truth. It doesn't make it right for us, right? It doesn't feel good. It doesn't land properly for us. So we have to create new boundaries. And some people with those boundaries they're going to have their nose out of joint. They're going to feel offended. They might get hurt. But remember that you create boundaries with ease and joy and glory. It doesn't have to be an angry thing that you do. It just has to be what works for you. And you, with explanation, you can explain, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. I need to go into another kind of self-discovery for myself. So again, staying strong in your stead while that cyclone is going around you, everything will eventually calm down. The storm will eventually fade, and you'll be just fine.
I have to say, you're such an interesting person, eh? Like all these things that you say, like I mean, and I have to say, I fully support what you say, because I'm a teacher, like an educator, and one of the subjects I teach is it's a section under life skills. It's called personal and social well-being. It talks about such things, and you'd also be surprised to hear the things that the children say, when you ask them such questions, So for you to say that I feel like it's going to help a lot out there, because I mean, a lot of us, we're living in a place where we feel that if we have to step out, what's going to happen is that we're going to have a lot of people judging us, and we might not even fit in, because I mean, everybody wants to fit in, and for what reasons, I don't understand.
Exactly. Well, that's it. That's the point. The
Yeah.
point is you are so lucky to be you, because the universe, the divine, the source, God, whatever you call it, knew exactly what they were doing when they created you. They knew exactly what they were doing. And they are all knowing and all powerful. So it's not up to us to decide if we're good enough or we're not good enough. No, We are fabulous human beings and we need to be living our lives. We need to advocate for ourselves. And then all of the, everybody wants, oh, she's prettier than me. He's smarter than I am. They have more money than me. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. You need to be living in your truth. You need to be not being someone else's doormat. You don't live in shame or guilt. No shame, no guilt about who you are. If you are doing work like in this kind of book or any self-help book, as long as you are a better person today than you were yesterday, you're on the right path, because you are constantly leveling up and you are constantly wanting to vibrate at a higher level so that you can be the best person for you and for all of the people that surround you. If you're teaching, if whatever you're doing, you want to be the best person. Here's another thing: you deserve to be loved. You deserve to be respected.
Absolutely.
You deserve to live in a peaceful home.
Absolutely.
How many people don't live in a peaceful home? This is your birthright. So it's easier to have all of these lovely things in your life when you do advocate for yourself, when you are living in happy, healthy self-esteem. I call it a regime because a regime is an organized way of doing things. So this book makes it a very easily organized way to get to the light at the end of the tunnel. And your self-esteem will change. Again, life will come at you and it will throw you things that are not always easy and not always pleasant.
No, that's awesome. And I believe that it also gives you a purpose in life rather than just waiting to die, because
of course,
when you're waiting to die, it's like,
yeah. I mean, the best thing that we can do is to live our lives. Many live their lives in service. I think we should be living to serve ourselves and others, and again, advocate for yourself. How is it that you speak about yourself when you speak? How do you speak to yourself? It's all telling the way your narrative to yourself. So when my daily demon comes here every day, bye-bye. You stop it immediately. You say, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate your point of view, but I really don't. So go away, So we are all in the same boat.
There's this also something that I heard from Steve Harvey, right? So he was talking about, like he said, when you wake up, like every time in the morning, like first he explained how the human brain works, we explained that there's a positive side and there's a negative side, depending on how you wake up, if you wake up and you're feeling like today is not my day, then the foreman from the negative side is gonna, whistle and they say, hey, it's not feeling good today, let's get to work.
Right. While we are all limitless, we are human beings, right? So you can still understand that as a human being, you may be flawed, but you can still hold yourself in high regard. You don't have to be flawed and then, feel badly about yourself. You have to say, well, I'm human and I'm learning and I'm working on myself because I hold myself in high regard. It's the advocating for yourself. Yeah, it's loving yourself.
Absolutely. Right. So with such a great profile, profile that you have, and such an amazing character, I feel like a whole lot of people get to know you better, So so I'm just gonna, go ahead and jump into the first question. I feel like a lot of us, I don't know if you may be one of them, we feel that usually before we begin with our careers, we don't actually know about the things that we need to expect to find, so we just actually go into that, and then somewhere along the process, we just feel like, if there was one thing that I had known before I actually began with this, my life would be so much better. Not to say that it's not better right now, but I'm saying that it would be so much better than it actually is today. Right. So if I may ask you, is there one thing that you wish you had known before you began with a career, as a
Yeah, I
writer,
think,
and
yes, yes. I
actress? Yeah.
think
So, mm,
the importance of relationship.
mm,
Today, it's easier to have
mm,
relationships and stay in contact because we have the internet,
mm,
and we have cell phones. When I
mm,
was modeling in Milan, 40
mm,
years ago, we didn't have internet
mm,
and computers and cell phones. So we
mm,
would meet together one day, we'd do the photo shoot, and then we all would go our separate ways and never see those people again. Well, I
mm,
found so many of those people, over the internet or Facebook and those sorts of things. Um, the importance of relationship, I think, is really important because, again, losing them then and refinding them, some years later, or finding them again, was a revelation. It was a wow. We had such good times together.
mm,
It would have been great if we
mm,
had a continuing relationship.
mm,
And all of those years were lost.
mm, mm,
The most important relationship you're ever going to have is with yourself. So
mm,
when your feet hit the ground in the morning, when you wake up, and your feet hit the ground, if you are feeling good about yourself, the rest will
mm,
fall into place. You're going to have great relationships with others. But if you're not feeling good, and many people are not feeling good about themselves, they need to work on themselves. And I'm going to show you the book one more time, not because I'm going to make a lot of money on selling the book, because I won't, but because for me, this is a manual, it's a
mm,
mission, and it's a movement.
mm,
I want people all over the world to be living in happy, healthy self-esteem, because you'll never understand that it is the number one priority that you must focus on for you and a happy
mm,
life.
mm, mm,
It's the first place to start.
Oh, that's amazing, to actually, know that, it's not just me, like it's like almost everybody out there,
Everybody,
who's wishing that they'd known something before they began with their careers, But nonetheless, I
everybody.
mean, we still make it regardless, but although we don't feel like we as much further than we would be, we still feel like at least we have hope, to keep going and keep achieving. Right. So speaking of that, obviously there's at some point in your career, you have encountered a failure, and I know a lot of people they deal with failures differently, but from
Yeah,
what you said and the way you speak about self-esteem, I can see that you actually dealt with it in a positive way.
yeah.
You learned something from it. You did something that actually elevated you to the next level. So if you may allow for me to ask, so what was the one failure that you have encountered? And what did you learn from it? And also, how did you conquer it?
I think the word, okay, so yes, and I'm trying to think of things. There were times in life that fear was the one thing that held me back. In other words, I could have been bigger, better, stronger, more, there could have been more in my life had I made different decisions. And I would have gotten there more quickly if I had had the self esteem that I'm talking about with you today. And I was always, I too lived, oh, I'm not enough and I could never do that. And, I could just never. And I'm afraid of what they'll say and I'm afraid I would fail. The fear of failure is one of the things that is absolutely, it will, it will, it will, what's the word I'm looking for? It will paralyze you,
Yeah.
paralyze you. And
Mm,
so, again, when you understand that if you're doing your best, if you're giving your best, if you're trying your best, even if you hear rejection from a job, from my business was full of rejection as a model, as an actress. These are things that from relationships, from family. The fear of rejection is enough to paralyze you.
mm,
So what are you going to do about that? What's your choice? Because you can go this way or you can go that way. You
mm,
can go down the path of fear and
mm,
never know if you were going to
mm,
make it, and live in doubt your whole life and probably
mm,
really unhappy and unfulfilled,
mm,
or you can jump over and say, this scares me to death to do what I want to do, but I'm going to do it anyway. And I will face the rejection, because from rejection, I will learn a lesson. I
mm,
will learn. From the failures, I will learn.
mm,
So it is always better to not live in fear and to want to continue down the path of, if I don't try, I'm never going to know.
mm,
And that did happen to me a few times in my life. I started down the path of fear,
mm, mm,
but I didn't go too far
mm,
before I
mm,
turned back around and I went down the other
mm,
road.
mm,
So that was the moment from when I stopped modeling and I wanted to be an actress. I was like, oh, I could never be an actress. It could never happen. I haven't studied to be an actress. I don't think, well, I did it and I tried it. And even though I never studied, I did 20 movies.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mm,
Or, television production. I had never produced. I was never a producer. Oh, I don't know. And 2 years passed before I finally went. So that's a lot of time to lose. Don't lose the time. Don't live in fear. Pick up books like this and learn how to navigate that. If you don't get that fire in your belly,
mm,
if you don't have that spark that's going to motivate you and inspire you to move towards your dreams
mm,
and to fulfill them,
mm,
you're never going to know. It
mm,
doesn't mean you have to, like, wasn't a model forever. I wasn't an actress forever. I wasn't a producer forever. You can continue
mm,
to reinvent as you go,
mm,
which is, by the way, a chapter in this book is reinvention.
mm, mm.
But never let the fear stop you.
That's actually great to hear that, because they say fear and rejection, I mean, not fear, sorry, failures and rejections, they're supposed to make you want it more, because I mean, through them is when we grow, So as for the next question,
Absolutely.
awesome. I was gonna
So
ask you, uh,
let me tell you, G,
okay,
while we're
all
at
right.
it, it's in the
Mm,
book. It's on page 83, and it
mm,
says, "Remember that fail
mm,
stands for
mm,
first attempt in learning." Fail, first attempt in
mm,
learning.
mm, 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 mm.
So
That
failure
makes
is
absolute
just
sense. Mm.
right? Doesn't it make a lot of sense?
It does. It does absolutely. You
Because,
know. Mm,
how many times, I mean, even Einstein with the light bulb, he didn't get it
mm,
right the first time. Ford
mm,
with the car, his first car, he didn't get it right
mm,
the first time.
mm,
Keep
mm,
failing. I
mm,
I I I invite you to fail.
mm,
Keep
mm,
failing, because
mm.
it's the learning process that's going to strengthen you also.
Albert Einstein says insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different outcomes. So I
That's
believe
the
those people
definition. Yeah.
realized they realized that they had to do something different.
Exactly.
Please hold on
Exactly.
please hold on a second for me. Murano,
Sure.
hey, Murano, you're making too much noise. Please, okay.
Oh, we
Baby is working.
love we love noise.
Yeah,
Get good, healthy
yeah, yeah,
self-esteem throughout the
yeah,
whole house.
yeah.
Let's have them read the book
Mm.
too.
So I'm actually a single father, so yeah, so it's working great, it's actually also helping me grow, like also knowing
Absolutely.
that I'm helping, because I mean you did mention from the
Children are
beginning.
the best teachers. They are the
Yes,
best teachers.
you did mention from the beginning that um um yeah, you said something about the kids that they're the best teacher, like you just pointed out now. That also, doing something great for other people, it actually also, built on the self-esteem as well, so yeah, it's really doing that for me. I need to say that it's actually working,
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
great. So I know in becoming the person you are, I mean, which is an amazing person, like I said before, right? So I believe there's resources that you've used to actually help you get to where you are, and to actually also, power up that positive mind, you know. So if I may ask, what are the maybe at most three resources that have best helped you along the way?
As books,
Mm, books.
as books, you mean?
Mm-hmm,
Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich for sure.
mm,
I also like anything that is done by Dr. Wayne Dwyer. I absolutely
mm,
love his work. And I also love the work of Panesh Desai. So
mm,
he's been on Oprah and he's another, I listen to him every morning. And
mm,
he's just so full of, again, there's really great nuggets of wisdom and he has many books as well. So these are some of the people that I go to for my higher learning and my higher good. But
mm,
life has really been my greatest teacher, and G,
mm,
it's been the
mm,
greatest teacher of all. Because remember, I'm in my 60s, and so I'm not, I've had enough. It's a long time to learn lots of
mm,
things that life will throw at
mm,
you and teach you, and so and some of it is really very, very, very difficult and very hard. So again, you have to be able to have those strong tools and resources within yourself at all times. And as I said, the book, read it once, but then read it again 6 months from now, and then read it again a year from now. These are books that are manuals. They are meant to be a resource, not just a read. So yeah, I really think that you should read the book.
mm. No, I'm absolutely. I'm gonna make sure that I actually read it. You know, I like the fact that you mentioned that life has been the best teacher to you. You know, also at
Yeah,
some point, life threw me in a very uncomfortable place. You know, so I had to tell myself, you know, and remind myself, like you said, you need to also tell yourself that you are great. You're more than enough. You know, you are just you
more
need to
than
keep
enough.
going. You need to realize that, you know, you can always learn. So those are the things that I told myself, you know, as much as it
Absolutely.
hurts, I never lost focus, you know, because I was actually, you know, when you going through that pain, it's like that's when you start to realize that no, this you built for something, you know. And Les Brown said that one good thing about falling back is that as long as you can look up, you can get up, you know. So I also
I
actually
know.
took
And
that in, you know.
Les,
Yeah.
I mean, Les has been really a friend of mine. Les has
Mm,
been really good to me. Les had,
mm,
we were on a cruise ship
uh,
once
mm,
an event, and he sat
mm,
down with me for an hour and just,
mm,
just talked to me about, my
mm,
business. I mean, he's a wonderful, wonderful human being, and he's very well loved. These are the kinds
mm,
of things that I say when you're living your greatest truth,
mm,
and you're living in service of others, then greatness will happen. Smoke will rise,
mm, mm,
as they say.
mm.
So yeah, and gee, you're doing all the right things. It looks like you have a phenomenal life.
Thank you. Thank you. Yo, you know, I have to say that, yo, for you to meet him, like it's you, wow.
Oh
This is
yeah.
something that even to
Yes. Oh,
meet
I've
you,
met him many
it's
times.
uh,
Yeah, I've met him
even
many
yeah,
times.
even to meet you, like, you know, with such profile, like it's a dream come true. You know?
Thank you.
I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie to you, like people that inspire me and I believe they help me grow, you know, and to be around them, I feel like it's something amazing because I mean there's a lot you can learn from them, you know. And I believe there's nothing you can learn from somebody who's not doing anything. And looking at
Absolutely.
you and what you're doing, it's really amazing, you know. Right. So when
Thank
I
you.
asked you about the best resources that you've used to best help you, I also did mention some an author of the book, right? So as one of the people that actually influenced you, right? So I just wanted to find out if there are more people that have influenced you in becoming the person you are,
If there are people that
that
I'm sorry, what's
influenced you, that
people that
influenced you,
influenced me?
or inspired you to be the person you are
That's a
today.
great question.
Mm,
It's a really great
mm,
question, and I think the
mm,
answer to that is the that how water will erode a rock,
mm,
and you get the
mm,
most beautiful rock formations
mm,
from the erosion
mm,
of wind and water. And I
mm,
think more than anything, the wind and water that came at me during my lifetime,
mm,
and all of the people that were in my life, and some of those that weren't, but for the
mm,
most part, the people that were they were the ones that really helped form and shape who I am now. And so, is there any one person? I mean, if I could have, I would have wanted to sit down with Nelson Mandela or Mother Teresa. I would have loved to have sat down with Gandhi.
Mm,
These are the kinds of greatness that I would personally have loved to have met.
mm,
But not that I aspire to be like them, which is why I
mm,
say every day I work on
mm,
myself and I try to
mm,
be a better human being. I am human and I'm not perfect and I do my
mm,
best, but I
mm,
don't, I try to stay in good, happy, healthy positivity all the time.
mm, 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 mm.
Happy and
You
healthy.
know, yeah, the fact that you're always yourself,
Yeah,
it's on its own the most important one, I
it's
mean, and
contagious. Yeah, it's
I
great.
think also like you mentioned, like realizing that we're not perfect and that we can never be perfect. I think that's one thing that's also gonna, put us in the right direction because a lot of us are fighting to be perfect and it's not that we're forgetting that we can't be perfect. It's just that we're just ignorant towards it, as they say, that
Exactly.
ignorance is bliss, So yeah, so I think now that you mentioned it, I'm really thankful about it, So
Yeah.
yeah,
So I have
look,
time for I have time for one more
mm.
question, and then I have to go to another meeting. Sorry.
You have to get another
Uh,
meeting. All right, not a problem. Well, I'm just gonna ask you, learning. I know learning means a whole lot of things to different people, right? So to you, what does learning mean, if I may ask you?
well, learning means
Mm,
opening your heart. It means opening your
mm,
mind. It means what are all the possibilities. It
mm,
means accepting what is.
mm,
It means not trying to change what you can't. Learning is all. More
mm,
importantly, Angie,
mm,
what is it
mm,
that we have to unlearn?
mm,
Think about that question a moment.
mm,
What do you need? What are you
mm,
holding on to? Where is it that you need to
mm,
release
mm,
something that you need
mm,
to unlearn?
mm, mm, mm,
Remember when I talked about maybe the
mm,
tribe or something you learned
mm,
from
mm,
school or a teacher or you learned
mm,
something? Where is it that you're still stuck because you have a belief system from something that is you fossilized, but it's
mm,
not serving you? What is it? So that is the real question. Learning is an extremely important, but you have to learn what you need to unlearn also.
mm, mm, mm.
Make
No, I
sense?
think yes, it does. Absolutely. That's a great one. It is really great. So actually, towards the end, I actually asked people to actually, just tell us more about what they actually do. But already you've covered that, and I'm so thankful. Right. So in closing, I just want to say it's been an honor to have you in today's episode. I
Thank
really believe that today's episode is going to change the hearts of many and that it's going to touch them in most amazing ways. And also, I just want to wish you all the best in everything that you're doing, and may it transform to a far more greater level than you ever possibly imagined.
We're working on it every day, and I wish you the
Yeah.
very, very
And
same,
I have
Angie,
to
and
say it's
say
very
hello to your
important to
coach.
look at yourself in a positive way. I mean, the piece of information that Clarissa has shared with us, I mean, it's so great that it can transform one's life in so many positive ways. So remember to like and subscribe so you are notified every time a new episode is posted. Stay tight, and ladies and gentlemen, I wish you all the best for the year 2022. See you next time.